Hey guys, it's your only classmate in class today, because it's empty and there's only a teacher, and it's Miss Mahoney. And so, we got these two things here, they're fighting to death. So, if you're Paul, you already know the answer to the left one, it's 2. Because 3 squared is 9. And if you're a calculator, that you know 3 to the 2.182 equals 11, I think. Yeah, because you got to do log of 11 equals to x log of 3, and then you divide by log of 3 over here. That's not, okay. Yeah, and then that cancels out, x equals this stuff, and then you get 2.182.
Okay, so if you remember, when you take a log of something, that exponent hops out front. So Ethan did a great job bringing it around over here. Anytime we were doing algebra, we want to isolate our variable, which means get it by itself. So we wanted to get rid of the log 3. Since it's next to it, it's multiplication. We divided to get rid of it. It canceled out. Whatever you do to the left side of the equation, you do to the right side of the equation. And we ended up with our answer. There were a few more digits on there. There was a 6 and a 5 and an 8 and a 3 and a 3 and a 9. So what we're saying is that if you raise 3 to this power over here, you are going to get an answer of 11.
So I think we can all pretty much handle these. They're pretty easy, and if they're not easy, I think to make them easy for yourself, you want to be more like Paul. Definitely be more like Paul. Which is to say Paul Bunyan, and carry around that axe with you, and be ready to chop down any variables that get caught up in the tree. So in number 2 here, I've got 13 to the n equaling 66. Well, that n is trapped up in the variable. The only way to get it down is to take the log of both sides. So the log here and the log here. And when I chop, that n gets to slide out front. So I've got n times log of 13 equals the log of 66. And you divide by log of 13 and divide by log of 13. We get the nice canceling here that we wanted, and in our calculators we just plug in log 66 divided by log of 13, and you get n is equal to 1.6334, and usually hundredths or thousandths are pretty good. Now, these will get a little more complicated, like number 3 and number 4, and my only advice to you is don't go around chopping down every single tree you see, because under certain trees, you might be standing there, right? If I'm standing here, and I parked my bicycle right here, now it's probably not the best time for me to grab my axe or my chainsaw and go cut down that tree. So what you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to move things away from the variable. And so I'll do number 8 here, probably the hardest one on this sheet, and then if you want to keep watching, you can watch for some of the more simple exercises. But to do this, if this whole thing equals 42, okay, I've got to move my bike, and my bike is worth plus 4, so I go minus 4, and minus 4. Okay, I now get that this whole thing is equaling 38. Well, I moved my bike, that's great, but I better move myself too, just to be sure. So I can do that by, it's 6 times the whole base of the tree, right? So I can divide by 6, and divide by 6. And here's my new problem on number 8. I will have 15 to the 7 minus 9x equals, let's just leave it as 38 over 6, because it's not really a nice decimal. Okay? Now I know there's still stuff going on up in those tree branches. Okay? There's still a lot of stuff going on up there. But we will deal with that once we cut the tree branch down using logarithms. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the log of both sides, and that's going to allow me to take this entire exponent and pull it down. But I ran out of page, so let me just rewrite it, and I'll show you all the steps one more time. All right, so once I pull that variable down, that's what it looks like. I'm going to divide that log of 15 over. It's just going to be some number, but I don't really care to figure out what it is. Slide that log of 15 over. And I'll get 7 minus 9x equals, it looks like about 0.681. 0.681. And now I'm just going to keep solving for my variable x. So do that by maybe minusing 7. Cancels out. Negative 9x equals,
Got it.
equals negative 6.138. And last step, divide that negative 9 over. Negative by a negative will give me a positive. I'm not sure what, though. How about positive 0.702? And even if you're an excellent guesser, I think it's going to be very difficult to guess that x equals 0.702 when you start off looking at this crazy equation. So I'm going to turn it back over to Miss Mahoney, and if you want to watch the rest of the exercises, you can.
All right, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me. So we know that we've got to get this out of the tree here, and in order to do that, we've got to get rid of the stuff laying under the tree. So we're going to move that 3 over. Since it's multiplication, the opposite is division. So divide both sides by 3, and then you've got 12 to the x equals 9. Now we're going to take the log of both so that x pops out front. X log 12 equals log 9. Still want to get x by itself, so we're going to divide by log 12. Whatever we do to the left side, we must do to the right side. And then we get 0.884. Be sure when you're putting these into your calculator that you close your parentheses, okay?